All right, so in this episode, we're going to go over some more code branching. We're going to go over the if modifier, the unless statement, branching variable assignments, and you know what? While we're at it, we're going to go over conditional return. Conditional returns. Okay, so traditionally, if statements follow this format. If true, do something, else, do something else. But the if modifier, we can actually put the stuff we want to do before the true. So let's create a variable just to hold a boolean. We'll do something before. We'll do puts x is true if x. So we'll run this. X is true. Now the only caveat to this modifier right here is that we can't do an else statement. So it's kind of limited, but it's just another way to use the if stuff. Alternatively, we could have another variable, y. We'll set it to nil right now. Then if x is true, we can set y equal to the string x is true. So we set y, and we put y out. So what we basically did here is we just, depending on if something happens, we just assign a variable. In the traditional sense, we do if x, y equal x is true. If not, y will just be equal to what it is before. It puts y. It's the exact same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Got x is true. All right. So we're going to go over the unless statement. So the unless statement is like a backwards if. So if something is false, we'll do the traditional unless. If false, puts unless executed. Else, puts else executed. So our unless was executed. So if we change this to true, else executed. So the unless block only executes if the conditional is false. So we have x equals 22 unless x. Whoa, wait, I got to think about this for a second just because I'm honestly not that used to doing this. So this is true. So the else is going to execute. So any other condition, it can literally be anything. So it could be a blank string. We'll get the unless is executed. So because this evaluates the false, x does not equal to the blank string, this is executed. The unless statement also supports the modifier. I wonder if there's a better name for that. X is not equal to the condition unless x equals 22. Oh, wait. Nothing's going to execute here. So x equals 22. So that's false. So we're going to get x is not equal to 22. X is not equal to 22. So because this ultimately evaluates the false, this statement right here will be executed. Again, another caveat to this is you have no else. You can't use the else statement. It'll just go to the next line of code. Next line, executed. Either way, it'll do the next line of code. So when the statement's true, the next line is executed, but this line is skipped. Now let's say we have a function, define foo. Foo is going to take in a num. And what the heck was I going to do? Oh, we're going to do return num, oh, we're going to do return num is equal to 420, LMAO, if num equals 420, and then we'll do not equal to 420. So we'll do puts foo 420. Num is equal to 420. Okay, so so we know that functions have return statements. So the return is implicit in this last line of code. But if the condition is true, this line's going to execute, so it's acting like the function is ending here. So these modifiers, they're more useful in functions because they'll just skip the last line of code. They're especially useful if you want to return something. At least that's where I like to use them. I don't use them that much just because I'm not used to using them, and I don't even use unless that much, but it's just a tool to have in your toolkit. So we change that to 0. It is not equal to 420. See, if I take this return statement out, we're going to see not equal to 420. You mean, hold on. I got to change this to show my point. So right here, because there's no return statement, this first line of code is just going to execute, but the function is not going to evaluate to it. But it is. So yeah, you need the return statement. Yeah, you could also do the, so inside of functions, it's almost like the next, if you're using a return on the modifier line, the next line of code is almost like your else statement. That is it for this episode. Oh, I got to think of some exercises. Yeah, I'll think of exercises eventually. I think we're going to use some exercises and some OOP instance methods. So until next time, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Subscribe to my podcast, the YouTube channel, which you probably already are, and my Medium blog. Thank you for watching once again.